Hey guys, this is Natalie with Treasures of Mini, and today I wanted to share with you my color swatch book. This is a little 3-ring binder that I found at our military store, and I bought it without even knowing what I wanted to use it for because it had this cute little pocket. But then about a week later, I decided that this would be perfect for keeping all of my color swatches together in one section. So as you can see, I have these little dividers in it, and this first one is watercolor mediums. And then the second one is all of my ink pad colors. And the third one is pastels, crayons, chalks, gelatos. And the last one is acrylic paints and inks, like P.H. Martin's, that kind of thing. So I'm just going to go through with you really quick how I did this. Now this first one, this is a color swatch for some Winsor & Newtons that I had already done a long time ago, and I just decided to leave it. But as you can see, the rest of these, I used watercolor paper, and I measured the piece of paper out and did my holes, and then I took all of my watercolors that I have and I named them, and I did a little color swatch. Like this is my Peerless watercolor. You can see I have 2 pages of that, and I saved in case I ever add. This is my Zig Clean Colors. And I actually wrote all of the zigs down and then just filled in the ones that I have. I didn't do this with all of them. This is just one that I did here because I actually already had a list in my craft room, so it was easy for me to do. As you can see, that little number that I just pointed to there, that means I actually have 2 of that color. So this is watercolor pencils, and I just went through and swatched those out as well. And this is some stampin'Up watercolor crayons that I have that I never use, but they are really pretty. But I put those in here as well. And this is another page of them as well. I had a lot of fun doing this. But anyway, so here's my next section, and this is all of my ink pads. So here's my distress inks, and I kind of went back and forth if I should put these in the watercolor mediums or not, but I figured since they were ink pads, I would just put them in with the inks. But I'm going to show you something on here that I did, because I do have the regular size ink pads and the minis. So to make this a little easier for myself to figure out where I have, if you see right here, I have a B. That means I have both the mini and the normal size. And then if it has an M, I have just the mini. If it doesn't have anything at all, it's a normal size pad. So you can see this is how I keep my mini ink pads in these containers, and then here are my regular size. So like I said, if it's right there, it's a normal size ink pad. If it has an M, then it is the mini ink pad. And I used this little, by EK Success, a 1/2 inch square, and it fits perfect for making these little color swatches and tape, and also sticking them down to the back, and I just use a glue dot to stick them down. So anyway, if there's nothing there, it's a normal size, and if there's an M there, then it's a mini, and I know that I can find it in my little things, these little containers. And if it has a B, then I have both of them. So that's kind of how I do that, and it makes it to where it's like really easy for me to find. And you can see I went in and labeled and put the names of each ink pad on the back, because I store them upside down with a little rubber band over them. That way I don't have to take them all out. And it's just easy. And like I said, I use that punch to make all these little swatches on the back of my mini ink pads. And you'll see later that on some of the other minis, that square fits perfect in the back. But anyway, so that's how I do that. And this is my second one. I really prefer the minis, but I originally bought the normal size ink pad, so I have them both. But anyway, that just makes it easier for me to be able to, if I see, oh, I want that color, I kind of know where it's at. I know where to start looking for it in my craft room. So anyway, and these are my Ranger dye ink pads. I only have a few of those colors. But, I saved room on the rest of the page so that I can add more as I get them. Here are my Hero Arts. Now this is a little different too. This is what I wanted to show you too, because I also have some minis of my Hero Art, and I have normal size ink pads. So you can see I have another one of these little containers, and I used the same square to punch out, and it fits perfect in the back. But I have shadow inks, which is what the SI is for, and then the one next to it says SIMT, and that's a shadow ink mid-tone. So once again, when I'm looking at it, I'll know, okay, this is just a shadow ink, or this is a shadow ink mid-tone. So I kind of know where to look for this stuff at. And then down here, you will see these are the neons. They didn't have names, but I put a mini, and then the N is for neon, so I know where to go. And that's this first row right here are the neons, and they're in the minis. But as you can see, that little half-inch square punch, it fits perfect in the middle of these mini ink pads, and I just use a glue dot and put them down there. Then this last row, these are also by Hero Arts. They're minis, but this brand they're not named. So I wasn't able to put the name of the ink down there, but I just did the color swatch. And those are the ombre inks up there at the top. But anyway, that just helps me be able to find where my stuff is. So then I have my mementos. And then I have my Brilliance pigment inks and the few chalk inks that I have. My StazOn and my Versacolor or Fine, because I have a little bit of both. These are my Encore. So this is some Colorbox pigment inks that I have. And let me get out my box. So up here you see that I have PB written down, and that stands for paint box. So I don't have many of these because I don't really like the way to store them, but you know what I do have I want to continue to use. This Splendor I have written down on another page. But anyway, so the first 6 are the color box, and I have them written down. This bottom ones that I'm pointing to right now, those are actually cat eye minis. So you'll see they say CM. Excuse me. Minis. Let me get my other container. I thought I had all this out. But I have another little container that I keep these cat eyes in. Sorry about the shaking. So these ones that are down here at the bottom where they say CM, the C stands for cat eye, and then the M is for mini. And because the names are written on top, I'd have to take them out to find them. So what I did is I took one of my white paint acrylic markers and I just wrote numbers on them. And these are not in order because I kind of did them in order of their colors, and I just wrote the number down on the side. It's probably going to drive me crazy, but I know that if it has a number, that it's going to be in this box right here, because this is the only box that I have with numbers on them. Okay, moving on to the next page. So this gets just a little bit confusing too. Let me see. Yeah, no, this is next. Okay, so I told you a minute ago that I had that Splendor ink box on the next page, and that is where we're at right here. Now, these colors are not numbered. You can see that I have a C up there, and that's because this particular box of color is named Circus. So I just put a C up at the top, but they don't have the names to them or anything like that because they're only numbers, and I didn't want to look up what the name was to the number. But anyway, so that's that. All right, so I have another little thing of little, well, okay, no, let's do this. So I have these Kaleidocolor Spectrum box. It's the only one of these that I have, so it's just right there at the bottom, and they're not named either. Okay, so this right here I made a while back, and I didn't want to redo it because I kind of already had it done pretty good. So I just taped it in my book. So these are more of those cat eye color box pigment inks, but they're the ones that like come attached, and they have to stay attached because the bottom of the one above it is the lid for the one below it, if that makes sense. So if you can see, I numbered them. So this is 1, and if you laid it down according to the way you could take the lid off, you can see it goes up like that. So if I look at this and I say, okay, I want this color, it's in, number 2, and it's the third one from the bottom or whatever, you can see I have them. So that's kind of the way I did these, and I put a P at the bottom, stood for pigment ink. And I just keep these in this little box. I do not like storing these. It's really pretty and bright, but, oh, I didn't do that one because I thought it was dried out, but I guess not. But I don't want to throw away what I have. So this is what I have. I don't buy any more of these. I don't like to store these. I don't like storing the cat eyes either. When those are dried up, I won't be getting any more. But I'm not going to waste. Okay, so moving on back to the other page. I have these little 1-inch cubed, these are pigment inks, and I got 3 of them when we were on vacation. I thought they were really cute, and it was easy to carry. I do not know who they're by. They are not named. They're just these little cubes. So I just took a little tiny stamp of a dog print and I added the 4 colors on it. So I know I have it. And when I see the little paw prints and I see the 4, I kind of know which, where they're at. Okay, here's all my Stampin' Up! Ones. And I tried to keep these in their color families. So I have... Well, okay, let me go back to the first and let me start it. So I tried to keep them in their color families. So the S at the top stands for subtles. So all these with an S is in the subtles family. All the ones with a B are in the brights. And the R's are in the regals. And then I go on to the next page. And then I have IC. Well, these 2 are regals. But then I have IC. That stands for in color. And then the in colors are done by the year. So this is IC 2014 through 16. And then I have the IC 2015 through 17, and I have them numbered. And then the newest ones are the 16 through 18. And then I have my neutrals and the 2 craft ones at the bottom. And on this last page, I have the IC, and then you'll see it says R. That stands for retired, and these are the 1315s. So that's that. All right, and on the next page, I have my pastels, crayons, chalks, gelatos, etc. This is my gelatos, and I halved my squares in half. And on the first side, I just smudged it with my finger, and on the second side, I smeared it with water. So this is on watercolor paper. I don't really like it. It's kind of messy, and I might redo this with the same concept, but not messy. Here are my Tim Holtz Distress crayons. So I just kind of colored them on, and then I took water to them, which you can smear with your finger too. But you can see I have a number on them. Each little pack is labeled with a 1 or a 2, depending on what series it is. So I just labeled that number up at the top so that I would know which pack to find this particular color in. Okay, this last one is my acrylics and inks, and this is pretty self-explanatory. So when I say inks, it's kind of like the Dr. P.H. Martins or the Winsor Newton inks. Anyway, I hope this has helped you, and I hope you enjoyed. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up and hit subscribe, and there will be more videos to come. And I will be adding to this book a lot. And as I add to it, I will periodically do little updates here and there. I will tell you that after filming this video, I did do my Prismacolors and a couple of other my colored pencils and did some blending techniques with those two. And I added those to my book as well. Okay, so give me a thumbs up and hit subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Enjoy and happy crafting!